Welcome to the Travel Agency in a Year podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay, and we're on day 174. It is all about overcoming the imposter supplier syndrome. So there's imposter syndrome when it comes to marketing, putting yourself out there. This episode is all about the whole concept of don't think with your wallet, but deeper than that. So have you ever sat down at your desk, opened up your itinerary builder, whatever it is, Travify, Traveljoy, I'm losing my voice, turn. And once you put everything together, you see the price tag for your client and you're like, oh my gosh. So allow me to paint a picture for you, because this has happened not only to me as a travel agency owner, it most likely has happened to you as well. You get a lead. It's a great lead on paper. You're like, this is my aligned client. This is my dream. They have an amazingly healthy budget. They want like premium, 5-star, ultra luxe, maybe something like in the Maldives, maybe something that's private guided around Europe, ultra immersive experience. You go to your preferred suppliers, you get the quotes, you put it all together. It could be like private yacht charters. Like, you're like, this doesn't happen to me, but let's paint the picture anyway. Um, and right before you hit the send button to have them approve your proposal, you look at the total and the number is like maybe 25K, maybe 30, maybe 50, maybe 100. And then your stomach drops. You feel like this immediate wave of anxiety just wash over you. Your heart starts beating a little bit faster, and the toxic little ego voice in your head chimes in, and it starts whispering, who are you to sell this? You've never personally stayed at this hotel that costs $1,500 a night or $3,500 a night. You don't vacation like this. You can't afford this. What if they ask you hyper-specific questions about the pillow menu? What if they realize you're just a regular person sitting in your PJs in your home office trying to pitch to them a luxury lifestyle that you don't even know anything about? You've probably had that happen. Maybe not exactly on that level, but something like that. If you have ever had that hesitancy to send a proposal that's higher ticket than what you're used to, or if you've ever actively tried to downgrade an itinerary or a proposal because you're like, I could save them a few dollars, substituting a 4-star property for the 5-star, or maybe going a few blocks away from where they actually want to go because the price made you uncomfortable, you are suffering from the imposter supplier syndrome. It is so insidious. I see a lot of travel advisors do this, and it's like a quiet psychological roadblock in the travel industry because all you're told is don't think with your wallet, and it actively is capping your potential income. You are cutting your own commissions by being like, let me see if I can save them a few bucks. And you're holding your own agency that you are building back from really breaking into the luxury market. We're going to tear down this mental barrier brick by brick. Let's change that mindset from like looking at itineraries through your own wallet, which all of you in basic trainings with whatever host or travel agency you've signed on with, that's one of the first things. Don't think with your wallet. We're going to shift that mindset. We're going to put you in the shoes of a high-value, confident travel agency CEO before Q3 arrives, so you're ready for wave season. Okay? So first, let's break down the psychology of thinking with your own wallet. It's a deeply flawed belief, falafel belief, because I can't talk, that you have to be a routine consumer of whatever travel you're selling in order to be a successful seller of said travel. And that is a common misconception, not only among travel advisors, but also among your potential clients. Sometimes they think that you have been to every single property or on every single cruise ship, and that's great information to have. But ultimately, I've seen advisors, literally been on calls with advisors with their clients where they just start talking about their own trips, and I'm like, dude, that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for your professionalism, not the last trip you took at a similar place, you know? This is an absolute illusion, is what I'm telling you. It makes zero logical sense if you look at any other high ticket industry on the planet. Think about not even a high ticket, but just an auto dealership. Now, if you know me, if you've signed up for some of my courses, if you haven't, head on over to elevatewithrachelk.com. But anyway, the Sweet Spot to Success course, I liken niching down to auto dealerships. That's the metaphor I use, and we're going to use that in this episode today. But think about the high-end auto dealership or any auto dealership. Just because the dealership has Ferraris or BMWs, Mercedes, whatever, Toyota, Lexus, whatever, do you really think that every single salesman on the sales floor is driving one of those right now? The answer is no. I will tell you that right now, and I know this because my son works at an auto dealership, and they aren't all driving the exact brand of cars that his dealership offers. Now, the finance managers, maybe the upper management will have a company car. They get a good deal on something that the auto dealership carries. However, the majority of them do not drive it, and the owners themselves drive whatever the heck they feel like driving. Okay? But do you think the salesman on the showroom floor pitching a $300,000 I don't know the price of cars Ferrari or some kind of crazy custom Lambo personally has a fleet of exotic sports cars sitting in his garage? No, absolutely not. He drives whatever the heck he drives. Most likely a normal sedan, maybe a truck. He just knows what he offers to other people, and he's offering it to other people. Think about realtors. Do you think every realtor that gets a multi-million dollar, maybe a waterfront mansion, in Miami or Malibu or anywhere in the US really, do you think they personally live at that scale? No, they don't. Many of the ones that I know personally could never. And also, they can't even stage a home for that level. Honestly, I've seen the home decor. I'm not judging. Get back to it, Rachel. They usually live in normal suburban neighborhoods. If they're doing really well, maybe it's a gated community, but it's not ultra wealthy. Whoop-de-dee. But when they walk onto that property that they have they're the seller's agent or whatever, or the buyer's agent, and when they speak to their clients, they don't even stutter over the price. They're not going to be like, it's $4.5 million. No. They don't apologize for the cost. It is what it is. They don't offer a discount before the buyer even asks for one, right? They point out the beautiful home, custom finishes. Here's this fabulous his and hers walk-in closets. Here's a saltwater pool, whatever the heck. I don't know. Travertine tile. Travertine used to be a thing. I feel like it's not anymore. Anyway, they talk about the market. They talk about the neighborhood, and they close the deal with poise, and they don't freak out about the price. So while these, car salesmen and realtors are doing that, Many travel advisors that I mentor completely spin out over, like, even just like their first $10,000 honeymoon. Well, I'd never pay for that. It's not you booking the trip. Get over yourself. Um, Value is relative, and other industries and people in those industries understand that. Nobody should be projecting their own personal financial limitations and limiting beliefs onto their buyers or their clients. So, when you are experiencing the old imposter supplier syndrome, what you're actually doing is committing the ultimate cardinal sin of sales. You're shopping with your own wallet. You are looking at a $30,000 trip proposal and thinking, wow, 30 grand could pay off my car or my student loans. It could pay my however many years of my mortgage. It could fund my entire family's lifestyle for 6 months. I don't know your living situation. This is an insane amount of money to spend on just 2 weeks. And here's the breakthrough you have to make today. To when you're in like the luxury sphere, or even if you're not, and it's just like more than what you would spend. So when it's your client, $30,000 doesn't carry the same emotional weight for them if they are willing, if that's what they want. Okay. I had to explain this when I was a butler, and I'll get to that story here in a second. To them, especially if it's like a high net worth client, $30,000 is just the baseline for securing a seamless, private, stress free experience for them as a couple, them as their family, whatevs. And $30,000, honestly, go look at like a family trip to like beaches or Sandals if you haven't, like Butlered Suites over the holidays. Like, it's nothing to them. It's a drop in the bucket compared to their time, which anyone with that eventually you learn that your time is your most valuable asset, and that is very, very common once you get to higher net worth clientele. So they're saving their time, the most valuable asset. That is what you are providing them in exchange for this money, whether it's the fee up front and the trip or just the trip itself. When you show up to a luxury client or a client that has a budget that's higher than you've ever experienced before, and you have any hesitation when your email tone, sorry to bother you, but here's this proposal, or if you're like, here's the price, but I found something better for you, or this is going to take me longer because I'm trying to find you the best deal, which should not be in your language. Sorry. Fight me on that. I don't care. They can smell that like through your email. They can smell like, oh, this person doesn't value their time. They're spending more time trying to save me money, or they don't understand what I'm asking for. They're not going to be happy about it. They're going to be able to smell the lack of confidence, and they immediately assume that you don't know how to handle higher level clientele. You are not protecting your clients by downgrading them or searching for an additional 2 or 3 days to find them the best pricing. You're just protecting your own comfort zone, and you're leaving it thousands of dollars of commission on the table. So backing it up, I mentioned I would tell the butler story, and here it is. I managed or I wasn't the full manager. There was an estate manager there, and I managed like a 25-acre estate with 5 buildings, and 4 of them were like living quarters. Quaint little 5,000 square foot cabins. 2 of them were like 5,000 square foot. The other 2 were about 2,000. And there needed to be new roofs on all of the buildings. So I was talking to there was like a team of 2 that did like yard maintenance type things. And I was talking to them and the estate manager, and they were all like, well, that's going to be $20,000 per. And I got to pull up my calculator here because I forgot the math. I pulled my phone calculator out to demonstrate to them. And I was like, yeah, $20,000 isn't anything. So let's say it was $80,000 for all 4 roofs to be fully replaced. I don't remember the exact number. This guy at the time had a net worth of, I can't add the zeros. Okay. 800,000, 8 million, 80 million, 800 million, 8 billion. $8 billion. That was his net worth. And they were complaining over $80,000. So I told them, let's see, 10, 100,000, 10,000. That would be like if they had only $10,000 to their name and they had to spend 10 cents to pay for 4 new roofs. That is nothing to this person. And it needs to be done because the entire property was worth millions of dollars. So to maintain the millions of dollars of value, similarly, if the worth of the property, not the net worth of the principal, but let's say the property is worth $8 million, it would cost like maybe, I don't know how to do the math right. I have to do the math again. 80,000 divided by 8 million. 80, 800, 8 million. It'd be like 1 penny's worth. It is 1% of the value. But if the roof isn't replaced, it's going to lower the value much more significantly if he had to sell it off. That's what I'm saying about this. Like, you do not assume how much money people make or what they value or how they want to spend their money, okay? Do not think with your own wallet. And that's just another example. None of those people are self-employed, by the way, so maybe that's just a strange mindset a lot of us have learned over the years. So let's reframe it. How do we fix this? We reframe exactly what the client is paying for, okay? So I made my attempt to explain it with the butler story and the roofs that needed replacing. And I was like, okay, well, if you had 10 grand cash in your pocket and you lost a dime, would you be worried about it? They were like, no. So let's reframe this. Your clients are not paying for your personal vacation history. They don't care if you've personally slept in the presidential suite of the hotel you're recommending. They don't care if you've personally flown first class ever. They don't care. Like, you want to brag about it, you're not going to sound you're not going to really attract the really high-end clients if you're like, I always have to fly first class. Don't you love their meals on Delta? They're not going to care. What they're paying for is your professional access, your ability to make quick decisions, your vetting skills, and your industry relationships. So let's break down 3 things you can do so you can realize how valuable you actually are. All right, the professional access. Okay, numero numero uno. Travelers that hire travel agents value their time above how much money they can save, period. Especially if it's just like a family vacation and nothing special. I think I've said this before and I'll say it again. It takes on average the regular consumer 40 hours just to plan their trips. You're giving them a full week of working hours, which, they don't have to be working, but they're doing this like after hours over weekends. But think about that, a full Monday through Friday work schedule that they probably have back to them to do whatever they want. Okay. They don't have to jump from one blog to the next, reading conflicting reviews on TripAdvisor. They don't have to try to figure out if a villa is actually private or if it like faces a parking lot or if an Airbnb or Vrbo is like super ghetto neighborhood. They're hiring you to be their ultimate human filter. You have access to closed, vetted, preferred supplier portals, and potential DMCs, the general public most likely cannot touch. Now, we do have access to some that the general public can touch. You have DMCs on the ground in the destinations that you offer. Okay. They know exactly which local guides are exceptional, which ones are mediocre. That sort of access is an elite asset, and it is precisely what justifies your presence in the entire transaction and can justify a fee if you want to charge them. Number 2, point B. They're paying you for your vetting skills. Even if you haven't been to a specific property or on a specific cruise ship, you know how to read between the lines of the description. You know how to verify like the room categories, understanding logistics. You know how to look at flight connection times to make sure they don't miss their private transfer that you're setting up, which they shouldn't miss their private transfer, but it could happen. You know how to structure like a proposal and an itinerary so that it flows beautifully without causing travel fatigue because you understand what they need. You possess specialized operational knowledge, and that can take a lot of time to cultivate. Even if you're new to the travel industry, I know so many travel advisors are like, I've been planning all the trips for my family for years, and now I'm a travel advisor. This has taken years for you to cultivate. Okay, thirdly, and the most important piece of the puzzle, your industry relationships. This is the ultimate differentiator. If a consumer rando books a hotel on like Expedia or booking.com, and you've all heard this argument before, but let me reiterate it for you so you feel confident today. They're just a confirmation number on a spreadsheet to the hotel. If the hotel's oversold, that person is usually the first one to get bumped to a lower room category and or walked. And guess what? When they call somebody for help, it's a call center usually filled with people who have never left their hometown. How do I know this? There's one in my hometown, and I've met people that worked there. They don't have passports. Any hoodles. But if you book that property through, I don't know, maybe you're a Virtuoso affiliated travel agency, maybe you're with Four Seasons Preferred, any other consortia networks, everything changes. You aren't just clicking buttons, you're sending a direct professional email, and you can send it to the GM, Director of Sales, Concierge. You have those contacts, and you're saying, hello, my VIP clients, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, are arriving Tuesday for their 25th anniversary. We're doing a terrible British accent because I feel like it makes it sound fancier. Please ensure they are looked after beautifully. Accord them the standard upgrades and amenities included as part of our consortia agreement. And place a nice welcome note from my agency in the room. Best regards, XYZ Travel. Was that a terrible accent? So when they arrive, not only did you curate a really amazing hotel, but they get greeted by name. They might get a complimentary bottle of champagne. They might get upgraded. They're going to get the additional amenities your consortia provides. They think you're a miracle worker. And even if you aren't like booking stuff that requires consortia involvement, if you sell the same brand even over and over again, and you develop the relationship with that brand, the same thing happens. They think you're this amazing miracle worker. And did that happen because you've personally stayed there? No. It happened because you have the relationships and the clout to make it happen. You are the architect of their entire experience. Please do not minimize your worth just because you haven't personally paid that much for a trip. You are high value. Every single cent you earn from your fees and your commission is totally justifiable. Don't try to save people $500 on a $30,000 itinerary, because guess what, chicken butts? That's going to take you several hours. Story number 2. This episode's just going to be long because yeah, we're over. I don't care. Trying to save like $200 and it takes you, let's say, 10 hours. What's 200 divided by 10? You're not making enough money. That's $20 an hour, but then you lose 15% of 200 on average. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. 200 divided by, nope. Times 15% is $30. So 170 divided by 10 hours, you're working for $17 an hour. Doing all that work is costing you $17 an hour. Like, you're giving away $17 an hour just to be like, I saved you money. Okay, that's just silly. Also, that math is probably wrong. All right, let's move on from theory and story time to immediate execution. I've gone way over today's episode, and I just don't want you to close this video out and move on, or the podcast, and move on to your inbox or your to-do list without taking action. Because what we need to do here is actively train your brain to get comfortable with higher ticket offers. Trust me, the first time I had a room block contract, I remember seeing the very first room block contract. I remember seeing $156,000 sale. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of money. And now I'm like, that's not enough. You will get used to it. So here's your little action rule for right now. It's probably going to take you about 20 minutes today. Look through your business supplier portal page, whatever, with your host agency. Find that ultra luxe supplier. You know, the one where you're like, ooh, I wish I could book that. Maybe it's a super high-end cruise line, luxury tour operator, or something to that effect. Go into your consortia and look for like luxury villas. I know I'm with travel leaders, and I know I can go in there and like find luxury villas, tour operators, hotels, all the stuff you've been intimidated by. But pick out the one in particular where you think, I'd love to sell them, stop using but, I just don't feel like I'm qualified enough. I've heard that so many times too. Then I want you to go directly to their website, or however you get to them, via your host agency. Sign up as an agent with them, because we have all these supplier access when you're hosted. But we don't have to sign up with all of them. Sign up, email that BDM that you see is your BDM. And then you can write an email. We're not going to do the British accent today. Well, let's do it. A professional short note. Something like, oh, hello. My name is Rachel, and I'm the owner of XYZ Travel. New paragraph. As we prepare for our strategy for Q3 and beyond, I am actively looking to expand my portfolio into the luxury space, and your property/product is a perfect fit for our target demographic. I'm really sorry if this is a terrible accent. New paragraph. Would you mind to share the latest digital toolkit for marketing, your advisor training resources, schedule a webinar? I love to schedule webinars with them, so I can ensure my agency is fully equipped to position your brand effectively to our clients. Yours, Rachel, XYZ Travel. I don't know why my hands are just flopping around instead of actually typing. Then you hit send. You could also leave a voicemail to that effect and do your best British accent. I don't even know if that's like a classy British accent or like Cockney. Okay, what you're doing right now is leveraging their confidence. That BDM is going to be like, oh my gosh, I can get a bonus. This person sounds serious. I'm going to give them all the assets I can. They're going to shower you with all the marketing images, any copy that they have that's like pre-written. Obviously, go in and do with their trainings, some insider knowledge, maybe a FAM, who knows? Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. There's time. Use all of that and then build your internal store of it in your own little, like, Google Drive or whatever. And then the next time a client comes to you that fits them, like, you could even start actively marketing this brand. You won't feel like an outsider looking in. You'll have a direct contact at the company where you can be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I was cool. I tried to sound cool in that email, and I legit do not know what I'm doing. Help me. You can always just call your BDM. But you're going to have the toolkits, hopefully some marketing assets, all the training stuff that they provide. They provide so much free training, folks. And you can look at that $50,000 price tag. I don't know why I can't talk, and say, this is the absolute best experience for you, and here's how we are going to secure it. Stop playing small. Stop shopping with your own wallet. Start owning your authority. Okay? That was day 174. It went over. I had so much fun with my terrible accent. And I hope I don't offend anybody with that accent. It's my attempt. You can do an accent of me. It's Missouri. I got a Missouri accent. Hey, everybody. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.